Hey everyone, this is D, Movie Man, fellow cinephile, popcorn addict, and emerging film critic, coming to you with reliable recaps, reviews, and reactions. And today, I'm coming to you all with something that I have not done in a long time, and that is none other than a trailer reaction. Now, my last trailer reaction was for The Gilded Age, which was like 10 months ago, so I am long overdue for another trailer reaction. And I really enjoy doing them because I love getting into the behind the scenes, I love getting into the specifics and beyond just the reaction part. So I figured if I was going to do it, I should do it for a film that I think is really compelling, really interesting, and there's a lot more to what I think about it and my perspective of said film. But more on that later. For now, I'll be reacting to the newest teaser for They Cloned Tyrone. Directed by Joel Taylor in his feature directorial debut, and starring John Boyega, Tiona Paris, and Jamie Foxx. Let's get into it.
I'm going down to the underground. Hope niggas don't drown and get fucked up right now.
Oh my god.
Let a motherfucker try me. Ooh, he gon' die beside me. I don't know why. What kind of shit is this? I don't know. Don't your ass touch it. You don't want to do this, man.
You better talk.
No, I'm just trying to collect an hourly paycheck, you know?
Who are you?
We're everywhere.
Hold on now.
I swear I'm done with his broke ass. Good, it's about time.
Nigga, who the fuck is we?
Somebody is conducting experiments on us.
This is Major League. It's Uncle Motherfucker Sam.
We gotta blow the lid off this shit.
We ain't no goddamn detectives.
Yo, that's you, girl? Oh, shit, that is you.
My bad.
Let's take care of this shit right now.
I don't know what that was, but that wasn't me.
If we gon' buy it to the insanity, let a pimp freshen up.
Woo! The jam. Okay. Yeah, Burn Rubber on Me by the Gap Band, legendary. Okay, legendary. No other adjectives are required. Okay. Now that I've watched that, I'm going to throw you a little bit of a curveball. Everything that I have just watched in that trailer, or teaser trailer, I've already seen. And no, I don't mean that I've seen the teaser trailer before. But more on that later. So since it's been a minute, I know some people are new to the channel, so let me just make it very clear that with my trailer reactions, you know, there is the reaction part, but the part I really enjoy is just getting into the director, the writers, the cast and crew, and just my thoughts on the film and just the behind the scenes stuff. I find that to be the most interesting part of doing this. And that was something that I really enjoyed about all the previous trailer reactions I did. If you want to get a feel for those, you can check that out. I have a playlist set up. I will drop a link down below to some of them. And yeah, feel free to check that out. But in the meantime, I'm going to start with our director, Jewel Taylor. He is director, writer, producer, editor, and cinematographer, and much more. He has worn plenty of professional hats in the film industry, so it's really awesome to see all that expertise and all that knowledge and all that experience being applied to his own feature film. His previous directing experience was as a co-director for the 2017 film Actors Anonymous, in addition to some episodes of the television series Boomerang and Twenties. He is also a co-writer of this film, and he has previously written for the films Creed 2 and Space Jam: A New Legacy. Our other co-writer here has a lot in common with our director, as he too has worn a multitude of professional hats in the film industry. That would be none other than Tony Rettenmeyer, who is also a director, writer, producer, and cinematographer. Now, this is not Jewel and Tony's first collaboration, as they were both on the same writing team for Space Jam: A New Legacy. Now, I never had the opportunity to see that film. I did a quick trailer reaction for it, and a lot of that was just me reminiscing on what I loved about the first Space Jam, the soundtrack, and all that. So I never got to see the actual film, but I heard enough backlash to not regret staying away. So with this film in mind, you might look at that and say like, "Ooh, they helped write that film." I don't know, but actually they worked with 4 other writers, which may have contributed to the issues as far as writing with that film. So that film is not necessarily indicative of their specific writing as writers. But either way, it's great to see them writing again and collaborating as writers for this project. Now, getting over to our main cast, we have John Boyega as Fontaine. Now, interestingly enough, the role of Fontaine originally was going to be played by Brian Tyree Henry. Now, that is another really solid actor. I just saw him not that long ago in Bullet Train as Lemon, and I was loving it. Just Lemon and Tangerine in that film. Like, there's so much I could say. But I will say that even with that, I do understand why John Boyega ended up being chosen as his replacement. Now, my main introduction to John Boyega, like a lot of people, was as Finn in the newest Star Wars trilogy. Whoo! I could say a whole lot about that trilogy and how just about everyone's time was wasted. The actors, the audience, the fandom, the list could really go on and on. And I will say when it came to Finn, there was just an expectation of something that I'm sure people are aware of that I thought was going to come about, and it didn't. And not to say that that also didn't happen with other characters, but me especially, like, there was just a certain level of excitement and appreciation I had for that character, and it was just like, nope. But I'll also say that I was aware of his introduction to the film industry in the film Attack the Block back in 2011. And I actually remembered hearing great things about Attack the Block even before I saw The Force Awakens. But since, I'd seen The Force Awakens, it was like a short while after, I was like, let me go ahead and check this out and just see what the acclaim is all about. And Attack the Block is just such a fun time. It's like I had no idea what to expect, and it was just so much fun, and it was so unexpected, the things that went on, and yeah, I would definitely recommend that one. It's so unique and it's so interesting. And I have to say that as soon as I saw it, I was like, okay, I absolutely understand why John Boyega kind of blew up off of that, because even with all that going on, his character and his performance really stood out. So it made absolute sense. And since then, we have seen him really on the up and up. Since that film, there's Detroit, there's Pacific Rim Uprising, and very recently, Breaking and The Woman King, and it's only up from here. So of course, him being a part of this film and just him as an actor, I really enjoy his performances, and I like that he doesn't stick to one type of role. Like, he has really switched it up. You really can't look at his filmography and say like, oh, this is the same type of character, this is the same type of performance. He really makes an effort to really switch things up from role to role, from film to film, and I always appreciate that. I really love an actor that can keep you guessing, and he definitely does that. Next, we have Teyonah Parris as Yo-Yo. Now, it's interesting because my introduction to Teyonah Parris was in the film Dear White People in 2014. And I must say, that film did not turn out the way I thought it was going to. But that's besides the point. It's so interesting because that was pretty much the beginning of her career. And it feels like I've been a fan of hers for so long, but it's only been 8 years, since then. It feels like it's been so much longer and I've seen her in so much, which I have, but it's only been 8 years. But I have absolutely enjoyed her from film to film. We have Chirac, Love Under New Management, the Mickey Howard Story, If Beale Street Could Talk, The Photograph, Candyman, and WandaVision especially. And considering her role in that series, of course, I am so excited for the Marvels in 2023. I am ready for Monica Rambeau to just show up and show out. That is my main draw to that film. I'm especially excited to see her take on Monica again because I really enjoyed her in WandaVision. And lastly, we have Jamie Foxx as Slick Charles. Now, Jamie Foxx is absolutely an actor that I've grown up with. Definitely a part of those formative years of watching television and watching movies, and he's definitely been a part of that. Now, of course, he got his start on the underrated and very much iconic sketch comedy series In Living Color back in 1991. And of course, we can't forget Here Comes Jamie Foxx. We cannot forget the Jamie Foxx show in the 90s. Of course, I have very fond memories of both those series, and from there, he went to star in countless films, starting with Booty Call, The Players Club, Held Up, and a lot of those films earlier on, they were more comedic films. But then he made a little bit of a shift with his role as Drew Brown in the 2001 film Ali. He actually got a good amount of acclaim for his role in that film, which was very much dramatic, and that, no doubt, led to 2004's Ray, where he portrayed the legendary Ray Charles. To this day, that is still one of the best biopic performances I have ever seen. It's right up there with Angela Bassett as Tina Turner and What's Love Got to Do with It, and many more. But man, that was just a next level top tier performance, and it was so surprising. You would never expect that we went from Living Color all the way to winning a Best Actor Oscar. Just from then on, he's done so much. I haven't been as into his performances post-Ray, but he's still done really well for himself. The man stays working. Okay? I mean, just in the past 4 years, we have gotten Just Mercy, Project Power, Soul, Spider-Man No Way Home, and Day Shift. So I think it is very safe to say that this man is not hurting for money or for roles. Okay? So, as you can tell, we have 3 extremely talented actors at the forefront of this film. Now, as far as the film itself, we are dealing with a science fiction, comedy, mystery, and all 3 of those sound like it might not work together, but I'm actually here for it. So, if you couldn't already tell from the trailer, we are following this very motley crew, this not so dynamic trio, as they end up on the trail of this really strange, very perplexing mystery that seems to revolve around some kind of government conspiracy. And now we are going to circle around to what I said earlier. Now, as I said before, this is not the first time I've seen this footage. Why, you ask? Well, that is because I had the opportunity to see this film back in 2021. So yes, I have been sitting on this one for a significant amount of time, just looking up the schedule and just wondering when is this film going to come out? I have really been tracking its progress ever since I saw it. So the fact that we are actually getting it, even though it's at the end of the year, I am so excited. And part of what took so long is because the film was very much still in post-production when I saw it. Certain things weren't finished, certain things were not finalized. But I must say that just as a viewing experience, it actually didn't take away from anything. It actually made it more interesting to watch because, of course, that's not a common experience. And I rarely have had like a, a test screening experience like that. But either way, I have seen the film. But it still is going to make for a very interesting experience when the film premieres because, like I said, I saw a version of it. That doesn't mean it's going to be the final version. So, of course, it'll be cool to see like the effects and certain things polished and finished that way. But, I have no idea what will be removed. I don't know what might be added. Will the ending change? Will certain scenes be extended or trimmed down or removed entirely? I have no idea. Like, I have no way of knowing that. So it's going to be interesting, like, to see that. And it's actually kind of, like, I don't know. I feel even more excited, to check it out because I'm like, it's just going to be really cool to compare and contrast seeing it then and just seeing the final result. And overall, I am just really excited for people to see this film and just to see what the perception will be of it. Because I've already heard some things and how some people are responding to the trailer. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, I think people probably have this obviously limited perception because they can't see the film yet. But I think some people are thinking, like this is going to be very one-dimensional and very silly and goofy, stereotypical. This film isn't going to have anything new to say. We've seen kind of this kind of stuff before, and even with the blaxploitation vibes, I think some people may not be feeling that. But I will just say, if you think that there's not more to this film than what the trailer suggests, then I will make it clear that you are very, very wrong. And I cannot wait for people to see that for themselves. They clone Tyrone. Will be premiering on Netflix December 30th. You guys are free to check it out, leave your thoughts below, and let me know what you think. So, once again, this is D Movie Man, signing off. And I'll see you with the movies.